All right, guys, let's look at the market direction from the 4-hour perspective and do just some bar replay, draw our lines on, and just see if we can get a fair degree of accuracy, just mapping out highs and lows, expectational order flow using the front leg, and just practice getting on the right side of the market. This is something that you can do just on the 4-hour bar replay, just getting a good feel for your accuracy on mapping out your kind of main structures and substructures, and just getting used to the 4-hour from the idea of every single morning when you do your outlooks, you're going to be viewing this, and understanding where the 4-hour is heading is going to give you your best bias for the day. So getting pro trend versus counter trend, it's all going to be based on the 4-hour. So let's go ahead and look at this particular PA here. Price is kind of overall in a bit of a range, right? But generally speaking, we're kind of trending to the upside. One of the tricks that I like to do is if you kind of squish price a little bit, you can get a better feel for the actual main structure versus substructure. And then once you get lost in the details here, it can get a little confusing sometimes depending on what's going on. You can see here, right, there's a lot of wicks to the upside and to the downside here. Structurally, we're kind of up, and then structurally, we're kind of down. But if you look at this a little bit closer, we're just inside of this large range here. And generally speaking, in hindsight, you can see that we're just trading up, right? The lows are holding, ultimately, and the highs are failing, right? So as it stands right now, price is trading up. You can see that we are taking out this high here. Right, so again, expectational order flow, we're kind of looking for higher prices. Price did interact with this high, so our break theory would be on. Technically, we've broken this high and then we traded back, so this is our area of interest. We are starting to push up. Let's kind of see what we get. So we form a new high here, right? So expectational order flow, as price trades through this area, we're potentially looking for price to trade back up to this area, and we're looking to trade from kind of this general area here. So yep, okay, so it shoots straight up through that, and we're just monitoring price again. So market direction wise, we're good there. You can see that we build this little high and pull back, and it interacts with this. I should have marked it on, but I'm going a little too fast, so apologies for that. But overall, it does take out that high, so there'd probably be a nice little intraday trade there. Okay. So we trade back down, kind of build this new high here. Okay, so price trades back through these areas here into the kind of like the more of the main structure. We do ultimately take out this high. So again, we've made a new high, so we should expect this high to go. If we get anything on the other side, okay, so we start to push to the downside now. So this is only the first break. It could be a sweep. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's committing to the downside here. So we're just gonna monitor, right? So we break this, in theory, if we're taking a short, we have to set up on the 5-minute here anyway. Okay, so you can see again, this wick trades up. Within this, it's an inside bar. Inside bar, there's probably some 5-minute consolidation there for sure. Whether it's a setup, not really sure. But so now we wait for a pullback. There's a slight pullback. We can expect this low to go, but we're not trading from here. We're trading from up here. It's a large range, a lot of imbalance, so we'll see if it even gets there. Not quite. So a new low is potentially forming, so we'll draw this on. Where are we trading from? Trading from here. If price trades up. Oops. Right. So again, if we're getting in, we're targeting this low. We're getting in here. We need a 5-minute setup. Okay. This looks like it was news. So depending on whatever's happening there, whether we avoid it or not, hard to say. We end up potentially sweeping this high. 5-minute setup potentially in here. We're still targeting lows. Yes. Okay. So again, we get a little pullback. This is where we're trading to. We've now broken this low and we're trading back up. So anything 5-minute wise is fair game in here to aim for these lows. And we have potential shift. Nope, we target this low. So perfect. Okay. Now we need potential pull back. We do target this low again from here, but there's no trade because it has to trade up through here. We do get this wick. This is our first kind of interaction. So if there happens to be a 5-minute setup in there, that's something that we can consider as well. All right, so here, again, we trade up through here. We're back in this area. Our structure generally is to the downside again. So if anything 5-minute wise sets up here, we can target this. All right, that's where we're trading to. And remember, you don't always have to target the 4-hour highs or lows. You can also use the fib extensions on the 5-minute to get in and out of the market. There are certain times that you're going to want to do that for sure. Every now and again, if the trend is solid, you can aim for these 4-hour highs and lows. So if we had gotten in here and we'd survived and we got some scale-ins or whatever, we'd be targeting this low or our fib levels and we'd be doing pretty well. Okay, so again, we break this, we're targeting this. Again, this is our area of interest. Why? Because we broke this low. It's interacting and it's trading back up through. So our break theory is on. That's a large wick to the upside. So it looks, yep, there's news again. Inflation rates. Okay, so again, but overall, market direction wise, right? 4-hour, we're on the right side of the market pretty much every single time so far. Except for up here, right? The shift, right? That's gonna happen though, it's not 100%. So, okay, we did, I should have marked this, but we broke this. You can see again that inside bar, right? It interacts, it sweeps, it targets this little 4-hour low. It's not sexy, but from an intraday perspective, when price is slow and we're not speeding through this, you're probably gonna end up mapping that. So again, break theory, where we're trading from. This general area, potentially up here as well, kind of depends. Again, we'd be targeting this low, we'd be trading from here. And again, you can see it swept the high. Okay, so now we have a potential shift to the upside. So I'm gonna go ahead and just map this as such. So you can see here, there's a slight move to the upside and then this here. So again, if we are trading up, we are still, if you squish this, we are still kind of in this range though. So we still have potential for the downside. But if we trade back through this, we can look for longs. And if we trade into this in a 5-minute sets up, we can still look for shorts. So we can still hedge. Okay, so we break through this line here and if 5-minute sets up to the upside, we can get involved. Oh, sorry, and we'd be targeting again. Our expectational order flow is for higher prices. Doesn't necessarily mean we have to target it, but it is a target. So we do break this high, but it's pretty weak, so I don't necessarily like that. Okay, but we do trade up, so that's good. I'm looking for a pullback so I can draw a new high on. This is not, again, these little ones, these are not like structural highs. These are just kind of targeted highs. They're little 4-hour pullbacks to give us reason to target if we're going to trade. But that being said, right, we're not necessarily targeting this high because we need a break theory to actually get into the market. We're not necessarily trading long from here. Okay, so here, see if price trades back through. It does. We would be targeting this high if price does want to continue to the upside. Which, right, again, our new front leg is here, right? This was kind of our new front leg when we developed from here. All right, so let's see what we get. Okay, it's trading pretty deep, but it's still within the structural low, so it's still valid. With large ranges like this, we may want to play substructure like such. See if we can get it. That'll be good confirmation of the upside. Okay, we get the interaction. So now again, we can look from here to trade potentially to the main high or to this pullback high if we want to target that. Okay, and we get it, and we get this as well. So structurally, right, again, we're still pushing to the upside pretty good. Now we have the main high, we have the substructure high. which one are we looking for price to trade back to? Either or, right? Either can work, because there's a good chance that price will interact with this and just go, or it could pull back deeper into this and just go. It doesn't always have to come back to the extremes, right? And we know that from one of the flaws of supply and demand. Okay, so price trades through here. If 5 minutes sets up, we can get in. We would have targeted this or our fib levels, right? And when you get tight PA like this, it's okay, it's not bad. The issue is that if it ever wants to just go, you feel like you're getting out early, but believe me, you get so many opportunities, it kind of doesn't matter. It's our job to make sure that we're not FOMOing into things. All right, so now we're getting a pretty deep pullback. Again, this isn't necessarily a structural low that's indicating lower prices, right? We do know that this is still fair game, technically. So from here, again, what we can do is we can look at the substructure in terms of what price is potentially doing on a intraday level, potentially bearish, still high probability bullish. I'd be looking for longs from here, but we can also look for shorts from here, right? And in this situation, the best thing is probably just to use the fib levels from the 5 minute perspective to manage your trades and make sure that you're getting out of the market appropriately. So again, we trade from here, inside bar, right? It doesn't have to be swept. If it is swept, that's a bonus, but this indicates a range, which usually means there's a 5 minute consolidation, which generally gives us some sort of setup. We end up targeting the high, right? So again, we're still pushing the upside. You can see price interacted and it's trading back up. Might not be the only interaction. We did take out this little high here, and now we've got a lot of momentum to the upside, right? I mean, obviously this is great in hindsight and all that stuff, but had you used your fib levels to get into swing positions, these are about where you would have, or almost here, but the red line would have just hit, right? So our swing traders, you guys would have been TP'd right there. We can draw this on here, right? This is a 4 hour high, not a main high, just kind of a substructure high. And no interaction, price just rips through, and that happens, right? Not a big deal. Obviously, lots of opportunity. Now, the PA that we've just gone through, by the way, I think we started around here. So from this, from kind of this area to the high where price shifted, it was about 8 days. From here to where price shifted again, it was about 14 days, so that's like 2 weeks. We're currently at about almost a month's worth of guessing correctly on the upside of the market, right? We've been, in terms of this bullish front leg, this overall structural PA, right? We've been about 80% correct, probably a little bit more, in terms of what direction price is heading in, just by understanding what is our substructure, what is our main structure, squishing price, trading the front leg, expecting price to trade to certain directions based on expectational order flow. Overall, right, this is a 36-day period. You've been right on the right side of the market 80% of that, and that's one of people's biggest issues. And you can see that we've simplified it pretty greatly. It's not that complex. It just takes a lot of practice and a lot of time. You're going to find situations where the PA is even messier than this range that we had to deal with here. You're going to find that news is going to sweep out a structural high that you kind of had in mind. These are all the things that we kind of have to monitor and kind of witness as price is developing. But as we are coming to the market every single day, we're working with whatever data is directly in front of us. We're not worried about what happened back here. Well, why did this pull back? Well, it swept this high, but why didn't it pull back after it swept this high? I have no idea. Why didn't it react to this supply? Well, it did, but why didn't it take the low? I don't know, right? We don't know these things, and anybody who tells you they do know these things is mostly guessing, right? I used to think like all of the supply zones in the back leg, they were catalysts for pullbacks because I knew that some way or another I was going to get a reaction, but I could never tell for sure if it was going to come off the supply or after it took the high or whatever it is. All I knew is that price was going to head in this direction, right? And what that led to was front leg theory. Screw everything to the left. Let's look at what's happening right now. Doesn't matter why it's pulling back. What's happening next? Whatever happened last. That's telling me what's happened next. It gives us a much higher degree of accuracy. So I hope that helps. This is a practice that I want you guys to do regularly. Go through it, whatever pair it's on, it doesn't matter, whatever asset, go through the 4 hour, map your highs, map your lows. Don't forget to kind of squish price a little bit and just see what the main structure is, get a good feel for where price should be heading, and then don't cheat yourself. If the low goes when you're expecting higher prices, it's just changed. It's not you, it's the market, right? Don't start to second guess your ability to understand where a price is going. Don't lose confidence in your ability to, choose market direction. It's usually just that the market is shifting or that price is confusing. You know what you're doing. Put the work in so that way you can feel confident in that. All right, guys, I'm going to do some more videos on examples for the other frameworks, the other pillars, and we'll see you in those.